All right. Chapter 21. I. I leaned over my desk, drawing Squint and Rock, trying to get my mind off of Mikkel. She wouldn't keep our deal, but I decided to keep mine. I had to try. Maybe she'd change her mind. The rest of the night at the party, Mikkel hadn't told me what she was scared of or why she wouldn't do it, which was terrible. The night had been so great up to that point. Why was she so determined to not do Danny's challenge? I finally had a friend, maybe, and if she didn't do the challenges, what would happen next? I've got to go back, Squint said, still wearing an eye patch and blasting one target after another with his light daggers. He had made his way back to his hideout on the top floor of an abandoned skyscraper. The targets fired back at him from the other end of the room at more than 100 miles per hour. The target shooter trainer was his invention. Nice shooting, Cyclops, Rock said, and barked. Only having one eye hasn't slowed you down. He buried his face in a pile of gravel and came up crunching a mouthful. Squint swiveled his head back and forth. Unless something sneaks up on me from my right side, Squint said, shooting a few more. It had taken a while for him to adjust only one eye after his last fight with Gunn and Traz, but he did look cool in his eye patch. Squint glanced at Rock. Could you eat a little quieter? You sound like a Cardanian chuck chomping down a tree. Nope, Rock said, chewing even louder. Good to know about the right side thing. I'll cover it, Cyclops. Stop calling me that, Squint said. It's accurate, Rock defended. I could call you Biclops, Squint said, or annoyingly loud chewing magical rock dog Biclops. That would be accurate too. Point taken, Rock said, and bit into some more gravel, chewing just as loudly. But we can't go back to Gunn's castle the same way this time, or the same thing will happen to us. We need a new plan, a new advantage. He scratched behind his rock ear for a second with his rock leg. And we need more gravel. All this adventure has made me really hungry. We had to try, Squint said, blasting another target. If we don't get the Empress back, the Oververse will fall. Any army in the known kingdoms could conquer us without her leadership and power. That's not the point, Rock said, spitting out a rock he didn't like. The point is that if we go back just the two of us, you'll die. We'll both die, and I'm too awesome to die. You're a bunch of magical rocks, Squint said. I don't even know if you can die. I'd rather not find out, Rock said. Me either, Squint said, shooting from a prone position this time. But Diamond refuses to come with us, and she won't tell me why. Any theories? Rock asked, scooting closer to Squint. I think she may have been a new centurion, Squint said, rolling over onto his back and shooting over his head, his accuracy still dead on. That could be why she was there at the castle. Gunn and the others recruited her after they abandoned me. Maybe they were training her and she switched sides. But she doesn't have a cape, Rock said. All the centurions have capes. No, that would just mean that her training isn't complete, Squint said. Why, the Empress would give her diamond powers. The Empress was the most powerful force in the Oververse, but she only gifted powers. She never used them for herself. That was why she could be kidnapped. Why give powers to someone recruited by your captors? Maybe she knew Diamond would turn on her friends to help you, Rock suggested. Maybe, Squint said, still shooting targets as he got to his knees. And that's why Diamond doesn't want to go back and have to fight her friends. Squint shot a few more targets, then turned his back to them and began twisting around in time to shoot them. Or maybe there's something else she's afraid of, Rock said. Maybe, Squint said, and shut down the targets. He moved his hand toward his eye patch, then pulled it away. My eye itches so bad. Just scratch it with your back foot like this, Rock said, demonstrating. Thanks for the advice, Squint said, resting the patch on his forehead for a little relief. His eye made a sizzling sound, followed by a spark. A glowing ember hit the floor and fizzled out. What was that? Rock asked. Did that spark just fall from your eye? Squint put a hand to his eye. I think so. It's like you're crying fireworks, Rock said. Squint nodded. I felt it too, and it's freaking me out. Though I was really far behind, the story was coming along better than I expected, but I needed time to finish. Flint, Grandma said. I didn't answer. I'd draw a little more than I'd talk to her. Do you think that's a side effect of the magical surgery? Rock asked. I guess so, Squint said, but it was an actual spark. Flint, Grandma repeated, standing in the doorway with a serving spoon in one hand and rubbing her forehead with the other. Sweet thing, can't you answer your grandmother the first time? For once in your comic-obsessed life? Sorry, I apologized. Have you written that letter yet? What letter? To the family of the person who gave you your eye, she said. Remember? Oh, yeah, I said. I wanted to write the letter, say thank you, but every time I tried, I got stuck. It was just so awkward. What was I going to say? Hey, sorry about your dead relative. The eye is cool. Someone actually had to die for me to get this eye. Would the family even want a letter from me? She put her hands on her hips. Yeah, you wrote it? She asked. Or, yeah, you're just remembering. I'm just remembering, I admitted, but I didn't know what to write. Nothing sounded good enough. Tell them your story, she said. Whoever it is, they just lost someone they loved. You might need to know something good has come of it. Get me a solid first try, and I'll help you if you want. I thought about giving excuses. Danny's challenge, finding a comic that I'd started over, doing my actual homework, but it wouldn't help. Grandma wasn't going to back down. Okay, I said. Okay, you'll do it right now, she asked, or should I go get Grandpa so he can tell you a story about perseverance? She really wasn't letting me out of this. Oh, I'll do it now, I gave in. Thank you, Grandma said. Bring it to me when you're done. She disappeared back into the hall. I leaned back in my seat. I didn't want to write the letter. Squint and Rock were trying to figure out Diamond and mount their final attack on Gun and the others. But I sighed and opened a blank document. Hello. Good start. My name is Squint and I am 13 years old. My grandma is making me write you a letter, and seriously, she's never going to leave me alone until I do. Okay, I just deleted that part about Grandma. She was going to proofread it after all, and it didn't sound very sincere or grateful. I was really grateful. I just didn't know how to write it. My name is Flint and I am 13 years old. I wanted to write you a letter to tell you thank you. I've had problems with my eyes for more than 3 years now. Thanks to the cornea I got from someone you love, I can see much better. Thank you. My grandpa says that saying thank you is, nope, I deleted that line. They wouldn't care what my grandpa says. Well, I understand that you're probably going through a really hard time right now. Someone you love has died, and I can't imagine what that would feel like. I had tried imagining what it had been like when Mikkel lost Danny. I could barely even grasp what someone would feel. They were probably like Mikkel's family, sad but trying to get by. How would they feel if they got a letter like this? Would it help? They could get a letter like this. Danny had only been dead for a few weeks. If he was a donor, my heart thudded. He died in the last few weeks. If he, my fingers clicked the keys as I looked up Danny's obituary again. When did he die? When did he die? There it was. I checked my calendar. It was a week before my surgery. My fingers typed in a flurry. How long after someone dies would a cornea be okay to use for a transplant? I scrolled through the answers. Up to 14 days. It could be him. Wait, he had a disease. They wouldn't give me the cornea of someone who had a disease, right? What was the condition called? I checked his obituary. Progeria. A few searches later, I found out that unless he had active cancer or some other serious diseases, he would have been able to donate his corneas. So maybe, I took a deep breath, there was a chance I was staring through Danny's eye right now. All right, that's the end of chapter 21.
I figured that